Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Fire prevention should be top of mind throughout the year. And every October, fire departments across the country bring this topic into the spotlight with their annual campaign. As Canada's 150 celebrations continue across the country, the Government of India is taking part in the festivities by sponsoring a number of Tarangini dance troupes to perform across Canada. The Swift Current Broncos are enjoying a positive start to the 2017-18 season with a continuous stream of victories out on the ice. A momentum which is bringing in more fans out to the rink to cheer on their favorite team. And one of the star players, Tyler Steenbergen, who's been heating up the scoring stats with over 14 goals scored so far this season. Thanks for joining us here today. Fire prevention should be top of mind year-round, and the Swift Current Fire Department is again reminding you to have two ways out. Fire prevention should be top of mind throughout the year, and every October, fire departments across the country bring this topic into the spotlight with their annual campaign. This year's focus is ensuring that everyone in the home knows the escape route in case of a fire.
So everybody's usually very comfortable with at least one way out of every room, and that's the one that we normally take in part of our walking and traveling throughout our home. The one that we're usually not very familiar with or can't confirm that it works is usually our secondary means of egress. So a window, a back door, something like that doesn't get used very often. So part of this year's theme is to encourage everybody to really test those systems, make sure that the window isn't painted shut or that it works properly or that it's sliding on the tracks or on its swivel the way it's supposed to be, and that you can actually get out of that window. Some people take for granted that in an emergency that they'll be able to get out of a window, and in some cases they can't. So just checking those things, going through and looking for, every 6 months kind of thing to test your escape plan, especially with little kids. Lots of times little kids are nervous or more afraid, and just encouraging them to be able to open their own windows or to be able to get out of their rooms using their secondary means of egress in the event that we're not there to help them or can't help them.
This is also a good time of the year to have a closer look at your smoke detector to ensure it's working properly. And it all starts with changing the batteries.
On the whole, we tend to be or think that things are safer than maybe they are, and we live in a very safe society, and smoke detectors are everywhere. We're protected, and I think we take for granted maybe that those things are in working conditions. Over the last few years, we've talked about how older ones or ones that are older than 10 years old don't tend to work very well or have a failure rate. I think that we maybe forget the batteries or take a battery out, or oftentimes it's beeping and then we kind of forget about it. It goes through its beeping cycle and then we don't hear it and forget about it. So checking them on a regular basis every month or every second month, pressing the test button, making sure that they work, and then replacing the actual unit every 10 years.
A variety of smoke detectors are sold at your local hardware store, from battery-operated to smoke and carbon monoxide combo units. And you're reminded that a smoke alarm should be located on every floor of the home, preferably outside of the bedroom. Mark October 18th through 21st on your calendar and plan to attend the CCA Finals Rodeo in Swift Current. The top cowboys and cowgirls will compete in all of your favorite rodeo events, vying for the CCA Championship title. And wrap up your weekend with the CCA Finals Rodeo Cabaret featuring Sweet Tequila. Get your tickets now for the CCA Finals Rodeo, October 18th through 21st in Swift Current. A unique style of Indian dance was in the spotlight here in Swift Current. We bring you some of the highlights in this report. As Canada's 150 celebrations continue across the country, the Government of India is taking part in the festivities by sponsoring a number of Tarangini dance troupes to perform across Canada. Swift Current is one of only 7 performances scheduled in Canada, with this Southwest community being the smallest on the tour. Mula Ghosh is the president of the Southwest Multicultural Association and felt it was important for the dance troupe to not only stop in Saskatoon and Regina, but also to make a stop in Swift Current.
Is to give people an idea of what the true classical dancing looks like, because they see a lot of Bollywood dancing and it's opportunity. You don't have to travel to India to see classical Indian dancing. So I thought if the dance can come here and people can access it, it's nice. So just a cultural exchange and learning about each other's culture and dance. That's hoping like an intercultural event.
Dimitra Sengupta has been dancing for 32 years and is the lead dancer and choreographer for the Tarangini dance troupe, which stopped in Swift Current. She says the dancers immerse themselves in the music and the movements through the 90-minute show.
Acting, it is very important in our classical dances, and they belong to we take the verses from our ancient scripts based in Sanskrit or other regional languages, and they help us to emote. We can express ourselves through dancing. Whatever we perform with our hand gestures, we call mudras, hand gestures, then eye movements and expressions. It is basically a narrative.
From the traditional costumes, jewelry, to the music, the Tarangini dance performance is an immersion of culture with the audience, and one which Dimitra is proud to share with others around the world.
I think that people would love to know what is there in our past and our present, what is in our culture. And I think that there should be such interchange, cultural exchange with every country.
The Tarangini dance troupe has 7 scheduled performances across Canada before returning to Calcutta, India. For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News. The Swift Current Broncos are enjoying a positive start to the 2017-18 season with a continuous stream of victories out on the ice. A momentum which is bringing in more fans out to the rink to cheer on their favorite team. And one of the star players, Tyler Steenbergen, who's been heating up the scoring stats with over 14 goals scored so far this season.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to it much. Obviously you look at it, but at the end of the day, I just got to play my game, and no matter what, I got to do the things I can do, and what other guys on other teams are doing, it doesn't matter to me. And as long as we keep winning, that's our main goal right now, and that's where I'm looking a lot, is the standings for our team. So hopefully we keep climbing up the ladder and keep this thing rolling.
And as the Broncos continue to present a united front out on the ice game after game, Coach Manny Vivero says they're not taking their string of victories lightly, as their competition is strong this season.
These teams, they compete every single night, and they've all improved this year. The only team that we haven't seen on our side yet is Prince Albert, but we've watched them on game film, and they've improved from last year also too. So, it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think it is. It's not just going to be Moose Jaw Regina running away with it. It's going to be everybody else closely involved. It's going to be a really tight division this year.
Now, as the weeks progress throughout the season, the pressure will be on once again for a playoff run by the fans and the players themselves.
Hopefully our team's in first place, and we get a good jump going into the second half, because the second half's always a battle, lots of games and not very many days, and it's going to be a quick turnaround coming that time.
And as far as ironing out any rough spots out on the ice, Vivero says there's always room for improvement.
You got to allow your people that are working for you to make mistakes and learn from that, and that's something that it's okay to. It's absolutely fine like that. But if you learn from those mistakes and move forward in a positive way, then I think for the most part you're going to get everything out of your group.
The Swift Current Broncos will have a few days off before their road trip on Friday to Lethbridge, followed by a stopover in Kootenay the following night. The next scheduled home game at the iPlex is set for October 27th, as the Swift Current Broncos host the visiting Saskatoon Blades.
Once it was up, everything kind of went in slow motion a little bit, and looked like it was just floating down. And once Doki caught it, we went crazy.
Mark October 18th through 21st on your calendar and plan to attend the CCA Finals Rodeo in Swift Current. The top cowboys and cowgirls will compete in all of your favorite rodeo events, vying for the CCA Championship title. And wrap up your weekend with the CCA Finals Rodeo Cabaret featuring Sweet Tequila. Get your tickets now for the CCA Finals Rodeo, October 18th through 21st in Swift Current. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.